Broadcasting from Manhattan Beach and the World Wide Web, you're listening to CHSR, HealthyLife.net.
As a service to our listeners, this program is for general information and entertainment purposes only. CHSR, HealthyLife.net does not recommend, endorse, or object to the views, products, or topics expressed or discussed by show hosts or their guests. We suggest you always consult with your own personal, medical, financial, or legal advisor.
Bow to the people, bow to the people. It's time for bow to the people. Come on, Wayne. Come on now. Bow to the people, bow to the people, bow to the people. It's bow to the people.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Powell to the People, live on the radio. I'm Wayne Powell, and we have a really exciting and informative show for you today. We have El Camino College trustee Cliff Numark. Welcome, Cliff.
Thanks, Wayne. It's a pleasure to be here.
And Happy New Year to you and the listening audience.
Happy New Year.
Well, let me tell you our audience, or give our audience a brief background on Cliff. Former Torrance City Council member Cliff Numark, a businessman and elected El Camino College trustee, is a candidate for Torrance Mayor in the June 7th, 2022 election. Professionally, in his 2 decades leading organizations, he motivated teams to achieve greater results and become more efficient. As CEO, he made the Red Cross Southern California Blood Bank the largest in the country, creating dozens of jobs. Later, as senior vice president responsible for the National Red Cross blood supply, he oversaw 2,000 team members and helped save millions of lives, while making $200 million in financial improvements. Today, he serves as the chief of marketing for a biomedical company. Cliff has a master in public arts degree from Princeton University, a law degree from the University of California at Berkeley, a Master of Science from the University of Sussex Engineering School in the UK, and a Bachelor of Arts magna cum laude from Pomona College. Cliff and his wife Diane, a Torrance business owner and former Emmy-winning producer, are Torrance homeowners, and they are the proud parents of Lincoln, age 11, and Pearl, age 8. Well, again, welcome, Cliff. So as we come on the air, and I was just, I was watching the TV news, and I understand that there was a major broken pipeline at El Camino, and El Camino College, that is, and it potentially could undermine some of the structures?
Yeah, the El Camino, as you know, has gone through a number of improvements over the past few years. It's effectively like a new campus. And one of the things that we recognized is that there is an HVAC system. Looks like it was put in place on the order of about 10 years ago or so or more. And that pipe dislodged a main water valve, resulting in a major leak of about 10,000 gallons per day. So the system was immediately shut down, and the location of the valve was to be determined. And so we're actually we've had work scheduled over the past couple of days. The timeline is important because, with Omicron happening, there are a lot of concerns regarding folks being on campus, notwithstanding the fact of our ability to be able to maintain the proper temperature. So all this stuff is being worked on right now, and so we are by and large not in person this week as a consequence of these issues, both Omicron as well as the HVAC issue.
And you mentioned earlier HVAC. For the listening audience, it's heating, air conditioning.
Yep, ventilation and air conditioning.
And ventilation.
Yep.
Okay, well, I didn't want to start out on a low note, but it sounds like everything's under control. And once again, your board, and the administrators of El Camino College are on top of everything.
Yep.
Well, one thing that I want to start out with is, we've heard that some cities and other governments are struggling financially. Manhattan Beach, fortunately, is not one of them and is doing well. So how are El Camino's finances?
Yeah, I think El Camino has done. I think the entire team, the campus, college community, and the administration, the staff, have done a good job of trying to ensure, with these very turbulent times, that we can be as financially stable as possible, so we can continue to fulfill our mission, which is obviously to educate students. So we've been able to maintain pretty consistent, if not improved, revenues through a variety of different mechanisms, and at the same time really controlling our expenses and taking care of our people. So I think our financial situation is actually probably the best it's been in probably at least 5 or 6 years. Contrary to other places like the city of Torrance would probably aspire to be like Manhattan Beach. The city of Torrance has been the 4th worst financial condition of any city in the state of California for a variety of reasons, including the fact that it's had revenues that are not keeping pace with their expense increases. And so there's some very significant work that needs to happen for the city of Torrance. But El Camino is in fantastic shape. In fact, the reserve levels for El Camino are double what the amount of reserves are for the city of Torrance.
Yeah, everywhere when I read articles about 2-year colleges, and I always see El Camino as, one of the best. You'd mentioned Torrance and their financial issues. Weren't they at one point recently going to raise the sales tax to make up for the revenue shortfalls, but that would have to go to the voters, and I think they decided that they wouldn't probably get that support?
A couple of years ago, the city of Torrance put the ballot measure to the voters. It was around the time when COVID first hit. It wasn't exactly very clearly communicated because there were some contingencies and things like that. So I think it was hard to communicate for a couple of different reasons, both the content of the measure as well as the timeline with respect to COVID. The city today, the city council today, is considering a sales tax measure which resembles what about 2/3 of other cities in LA County are executing, which is a 0.75% use tax that would be put in place in the city, which would make it like a number of other neighboring cities like Long Beach, for example. So like I said, about 2/3 of LA County cities have instituted this. So that's something the city is currently considering. It hasn't been decided yet. I think they will probably decide within the next couple of months whether they will go before the voters in the June 2022 election.
I would think with all that's going on, with COVID and the economy and whatever, that the voters probably think that enough is enough. Yet I thought I read that if there is no sales tax increase, then the city of Torrance is going to have to drastically slash their budget. I thought I read 5 to 10%. Yep.
That's right, about 5% across the board for the general fund. Currently, the city is looking at reducing police officer positions by about 40-plus, a number of other positions in fires and other general operations. So it would be a pretty significant reduction from in city expenses if the sales tax measure does not, if it's put before the ballot and doesn't pass, or if it doesn't go to the ballot at all. My belief is that irrespective of whether the sales tax measure passes or not, the city needs to continue to hone its finances writ large, whether it's improving revenues by doubling down on efforts to recruit and attract and retain businesses on the revenue side, or alternatively on the expense side, really going through and doing what I would call a zero-based budget, actually assessing after trying to figure out how to work with suppliers in a way that is the most cost-effective manner possible, to really go with a zero-based budget really says, okay, what do we absolutely have to do, and are we doing it in the most effective mechanism, and then kind of building your way back up and making some choices. I've had to do that exercise and it's more than exercise, it's a significant amount of work in a variety of circumstances. Certainly when I was at the Red Cross, I was part of the team that led to the reductions of $500 million in annual expense reduction. So we were at about $2 billion a year in expenses, and we brought it down to $1.5 billion. That's a lot of work to make that happen. You don't just flip a switch. It's a lot of real detailed understanding of operations and assessments. I've also done it in small nonprofit organizations as a board member. So I have quite a bit of experience figuring out how to try to deliver the same services at a lower cost, and that's the exercise that should be enacted irrespective of whether the sales tax measure goes on the ballot and is passed or not.
Yeah, I've learned that especially when there's some financially challenging times, instead of doing an incremental budget, which is where you take the existing budget and go line by line and increase or decrease something by a certain percentage or dollar amount, you start at ground zero, otherwise known as a zero-based budget, and basically start over. And in that process, you can trim the fat. That's where you discover, where there's cushions built into the budget. And I know in the 8 years I was on the city council in Manhattan Beach and the 2 terms as mayor, we were able to eliminate a number of expenses or reduce a number of expenses without any loss of services or level of services. And it was a good thing. It was a great thing, for the residents, taxpayers, if you will, and a great thing for the city.
Agreed. Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, there's a number of instances when I was on the council from 2008 to 2013, as you recall, Wayne. We were the compatriots, if you will, in city government at the time, and we went through the Great Recession just like you did. And one of the things that we identified is exactly your point. I can't say we engaged in a zero-based budget at that time, although that's something I advocated as a council member. Certainly I would want to move that forward if I was fortunate enough to be elected mayor. But we did push pretty far down on that incremental budget that you talked about. An example was we were going to have to cut 2 police officer positions based on the revenue shortfalls we were seeing as a consequence of the Great Recession. And I literally started opening up the budget book and started pouring over every single miscellaneous fund. That many cities have these very kind of lots of sundry funds. And I actually ended up finding those funds from a different fund, completely legal, to be able to retain those 2 police officer positions. To your point, we were able to maintain city services. We actually looked at the cable television franchise fee operation in order to preserve 2 police officer positions, but that was a good trade-off at that time. Prioritization is what has to happen when you are running short on revenues and you need to trim expenses, and frankly, that's what all organizations do, all businesses do, and that's something that the city absolutely needs to engage in.
Yeah, and there's unfortunately, a number of cities that, are having extreme financial challenges, and the first thing I would recommend is to go line by line. Some might say you shouldn't be getting into the weeds. I don't, look at nickel and dime items, but the significant items, and see whether or not you can be doing things more efficiently. And if so, you can do it without loss of services or without, layoffs or any of that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The one thing that's challenging is it takes time to figure all that stuff out, and that's the key. The city of Torrance's finances are so challenged, to a certain degree. There's some liquidity issues even, the ability to maintain operations. So, you have to have the time in order to go through and make the right decisions. Otherwise, you end up being very ham-fisted in your approach, and could yield to bad outcomes.
Well, it's great to know that El Camino, the campus, the college's finances are in excellent shape.
Yep.
So El Camino has a diverse student population. What is El Camino doing to ensure that it is accessible to all?
Yeah, the college after George Floyd was murdered, the college went through and established the President's Task Force on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and really engaged in a lot of conversations to try to ensure that the El Camino campus is really accessible to all. It is an extremely, like the South Bay, it's a very diverse population, about 43% Latino, about 12%, 12-13% Asian, Pacific Islander, API, about 14% African American, 10% white. So it's a very diverse population, and we want to make sure that we are engaging in both in terms of how the faculty act, both how the students interact with each other. A series of conversations were had across the campus, whether it was from how public safety interacts with the students and the broader community to how certain students feel in terms of how comfortable they are on campus. And one of the major outcomes of that effort was setting up a social justice center at the campus. The other thing that I helped initiate as well is as you probably are aware, the AAPI community has had a huge increase in hate crimes, about 150% increase in America's 16th largest cities. And so one of the things that the college is working on today for February or so, and maybe depending on Omicron, is to actually have a rally to stop hate against the API and other members of our community. And one of the things that we're investigating is training for seniors to ward off against some of these terrible incidents of hate that have happened, as well as bystander training. So anyway, there's a number of actions that we're trying to take to ensure that our campus reflects the great diversity of our community, and that's what makes us a wonderful place to live and certainly for students to study.
Excellent. So how has El Camino encouraged first-year students to attend the college?
Yeah, so the campus has a very active recruitment process. Certainly, one of the things that I've tried to encourage the college to do is to enhance its marketing and outreach efforts writ large. So the digital media, the digital advertising, all of that is radically different today than it was, say, 5 years ago. We also have a very active program where we engage the community, so we call them college nights. Now, it's been a little challenging with COVID, but where we will actually invite folks to the campus, families and young people to the campus to see what it's like. And then on top of that, we also have the program where, ambassador program, we're actually going out to neighboring high schools to encourage folks to come. So and there's even more. We're working with working students, working with businesses to help them. If they have workers who want to try to get a degree, they can come to El Camino. So there's a variety of different outreach mechanisms. One of the most interesting and important ones that has happened over the past few years is a program called the South Bay Promise Program. So this is geared for first-year students, and will actually provide all the enrollment fees paid. So it's free college for 2 years. The students who are admitted to the program get priority registration in the first semester, access to English and math courses in the first year. This is the most important thing, a personalized support and success program. What we found is that, and this is one of the big trends that's happening in community colleges, is to be very intrusive with the coaching and counseling provided by the counselors to the students. We don't want people to drop out. We want them to succeed, and we've taken a number of steps to try to encourage students to continue to progress in their college career, including setting up a separate new scheduling system. Anyway, the South Bay Promise program is for first-year students. Has a number of benefits, most significantly free tuition, and we went from 12 people participating in that program in 2014 to about 1,000 today. You have to go through an application process, etc., but there's huge benefits, not just in terms of the financial support, but also in terms of the support for the student as they're going along their college career.
Well, I know my voice. I was shouting and screaming on New Year's Eve. Doing safely, it's a tradition going on to the beach, but we kept a safe distance from practically all of the revelers, but as a result, we had to scream and yell. And my voice is getting shot, or is shot. Anyways, I know that people go to a 2-year college. Some people do because it's more affordable than, either a private university or even, the UC or Cal State system. Others go because maybe they don't have the grades to go directly to a 4-year university but will be transferring. And then others go to, a local college because it's close by. But now people are choosing El Camino just because of how outstanding the academic programs are.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's a great, the students that teach the faculty, they're outstanding. We're talking folks who have PhDs from Caltech and UCLA and much more intimate environment in terms of you're being taught directly by the PhDs. It's an intimate environment in terms of, the connections between the faculty members and the students. It's a fantastic education, and whether people are going to El Camino for a certificate so they can go and get a job right away, or if they're actually going to be transferring, it's a great way to start a college career, start or continue a college career.
Yeah, and that's the one thing about a 2-year college, namely, El Camino, is some people go for an academic education with the intent to transfer to a 4-year university. Others, they're going there to pursue a vocation. And, not everybody is cut out for college, and it's not a bad thing to, do a vocation. In fact, when I look at plumbers and electricians and others, some of them are making far more money than, people that with a university degree. Not that money is the most important thing about a career, but there's also excellent vocational programs at El Camino.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, everything from, we teach folks how to weld. We have an outstanding auto repair facility, which is really, it's very scientific. It's almost engineering, right, in terms of the sophistication of the automobile. So, yeah, it's across the board, from the sciences to vocational. There's a huge opportunity to learn at the school.
And I know when I was on the council and we would hire, all of the firefighters are also paramedics. Yep. And we would hire people that had come out of the fire safety school, and I think paramedic training as well from El Camino.
Yeah, we're actually setting up a public safety academy. We were able to get support from the state of California, particularly Assemblymember Alma Rasucci, and we're setting up a public safety academy so that right now, if some of that training, incumbent training, wants to be done at Manhattan Beach Fire or Manhattan Beach Police or Torrance Fire or Torrance Police, they either have to do it on site of their own and deal with that, or they have to go far away. This actually having a public safety training academy will be extremely helpful for incumbent training as well as serving as a feeder to your point, Wayne, about being able to staff the important public safety positions of the future.
Yeah, and, when I got on council, we were donating surplus vehicles, vehicles that were beyond the city's economic useful life, but the police and fire vehicles are being donated south of the border. And when I mean south of the border, not south of Manhattan Beach border, right? Mexico. And I said, hey, and right at the same time, someone from El Camino had approached us, and I said, hey, let's give it to El Camino, keep it local, and especially since, that's where the local training is. Well, on that note, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Powell to the People on the Healthy Life Radio Network.
It's Power to the People.
For all your live or pre-recorded webcasting needs, come to earthchannel.com. Get your web-based message out to a select group or the whole world. It's easy. A pioneer in webcasting, earthchannel.com provides the best products and services to big corporations and government users. And now this same technology is available to you. They have the best Earthcast encoders, servers, and products to meet your technical needs. But wait, don't want to mess with technical stress? No problem. They'll do it for you. EarthChannel.com is your answer. You can use webcasting for lots of things like advertising, marketing, customer support, training, and don't forget web radio and TV. In fact, you're listening to a live Earthcast right now. So come to EarthChannel.com. Actualize your audio or video webcasting needs today. You can't beat the friendly service or the price. Call EarthChannel.com at 1-800-849-8978. That's 1-800-849-8978.
Constant Contact and your small business make a perfect fit for marketing. They give you what you need to succeed. Fast and easy email marketing at your fingertips. Visit the HealthyLife.net advertiser page and click on Constant Contact to start your marketing.
Love with Food delivers healthy, natural, organic, or gluten-free snacks every month right to your door. Whether you want a home or business box, Love with Food has got you covered. Membership starts at $9.99 a month. Imagine junk-free food delivered every month. And the best thing is that for every box you buy, Love with Food donates to food banks in America. To find out more, visit HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click the Love with Food banner. And do it right now.
Get high-quality glasses, sunglasses, and prescription lenses at eyeglasses.com. Choose from over 250,000 items and 400 brands. Already have frames? Get replacement lenses. It's easy. Go to our advertiser page and click eyeglasses.com.
HealthyLife.net, where positive overcomes negative.
Down to the people. Down to the people. Down to the people. It's power to the people.
Welcome back. You're listening to Powell to the People. Wayne Powell here, and I'm with El Camino College trustee Cliff Numark. Well, again, I hear great things about El Camino, so I know that you and your fellow trustees and the administration are doing great, although I understand that the president and maybe a couple of other senior administrators are relatively new.
Yeah, that's true. We had just hired the superintendent president, Dr. Brenda Thames, like the Thames River, and she is doing a fabulous job. We had Dr. Tom Fowler, who'd been there for a number of years and made a lot of incredible improvements. He led the partnership with Compton College, really helped save that community along with the trustees. And then we had Dr. Dina Maloney, who started in about the 2014 time frame, and or actually more like 2015, 2016 rather. Anyway, so she did a great job working on economic development. She initiated the South Bay Promise program. She put a lot of infrastructure in place. And now Dr. Thames is in place, and she's really going to help take El Camino to the next level. It's always been an incredible school, but having grown up in the area, I can tell you it looks like a brand new campus. Thanks to the voters, we have state-of-the-art facilities from the STEM classrooms to the CTE facilities, like I was talking about earlier. So it is an incredible institution here, a gem. And Dr. Thames brings a wealth of knowledge. She's a career administrator in the community college system, and is building her team and doing a really great job trying to provide to students at a really, really, really challenging time. COVID has wreaked havoc in so many different ways, and certainly El Camino has faced a number of the same challenges that every other sector and industry has faced as well, and I think she's doing a great job moving us forward.
Yeah. Well, so on that note, what has El Camino done to encourage partnerships in the community with other school districts and with businesses?
Yeah, so we have a number of programs that where we intersect with the community. So one program, for example, that we're working on is working with the aerospace companies and trying to help train incumbent workers for aerospace. And we have a very active business center which actively works to help with the training of employees for businesses. Most people don't know that there's a program called the Employment Training Panel, which actually all businesses generally pay into. and some of those funds can be used to help provide all kinds of training for existing businesses, existing employees. So the Business Training Center is doing a number of fantastic outreach with our business community. But then on the school district side, for the past couple of years now, we've innovated a program called dual enrollment. So this is where a student will, say, go to Torrance High School or West High School, and they'll actually be able to go into the classroom at Torrance High or West High, just like they would for any other class. But it doesn't just count for their high school credit. They're actually getting college credit. That's called dual enrollment, and we've seen this program completely take off. There's over probably on the order of about 400 full-time equivalent students throughout the South Bay who are engaging in dual enrollment classes. So that's full-time equivalent. So if one student's taking about one course, it's on the order of 1,600 to 2,000 people are engaging this, which is a great way of enabling students to get a jump on going to college, because they'll always have that college credit. And that's something that's really taken off over the past few years. And we have dual enrollment agreements with every school district in the South Bay.
Oh, wow, that's great. Well, speaking about enrollment, I've heard that, and I don't know if it's true at El Camino, but there's been decreasing enrollments.
Yes, there has been decreasing enrollment. Our enrollment has actually gone down over the past couple of years because of COVID. So what we found is that we did offer online courses immediately. We pivoted, and there was a lot of work on the part of the administration and the faculty and the staff. But we did see fewer students engaging. The good news is that online is now a big part of what we do. This is great, very convenient, enables to reach people who may not be able to be on campus. But we did see a dip in enrollment. And so that's one of the big challenges, and frankly, some of our financial help, I think, is really going to be directed at trying to ensure that we can bring that enrollment up, because I think the bottom line is El Camino and other community colleges are an incredible deal for students. You get such a great education at a relatively low cost. So we are there's a whole enrollment, what's called an enrollment management plan, where we are taking a number of steps, including dual enrollment, including working with like businesses to the degree which their employees can enroll, actually trying to enhance that enrollment, because we really want to be at that. It's about 19,000 full-time equivalent students. It works out to be about 27,000 total students. That's really our sweet spot for where we want to be, and we are on a path to get there in the 24-25 time frame.
I read an interesting article about Steven Spielberg. He's as everyone knows, he's the executive producer and director of West Side Story, the 2021 version of West Side Story. But a little-known fact is he went to Long Beach State, my undergrad alma mater, and then dropped out. And then years later, in 2002, he went back and completed his degree and graduated, and the students were, the fellow students in his classes were totally blown away. And then during graduation, it was kind of an interesting spectacle. So and then I've also seen in the news where one person who I think was in his 90s went back to, and I can't remember what university it was, but he went back to school and was going to the university with his grandson, and then they both graduated. So it's never too, you're never too old, and it's never too late to go back and get that education, as well as continuing education.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. We in fact, I often will go to the graduations and hand out the degrees, and we will have students who are in their 80s, and I think one time we even had a student in their 90s. So it's a full spectrum, and we've actually had students. One of the members of the foundation board, I think he attended when he was in his like 15 or 16. So it's definitely a wide spectrum for folks to be able to attend the college.
And when I graduated at Long Beach State, Steve Martin was graduating there right at the same time, so it's kind of interesting. I think his was also a situation where he decided to go back and get the degree. Of course, both of them have honorary doctorates from a number of different universities, but also just even when you have a degree, you should always continue your education. Things are changing and developing, especially now, in a post-COVID environment. Anyways, we have to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Powell to the People on the Healthy Life Radio Network.
Power to the people. Power to the people. Power to the people. It's power to the people.
For all your live or pre-recorded webcasting needs, come to earthchannel.com. Get your web-based message out to a select group or the whole world. It's easy. A pioneer in webcasting, earthchannel.com provides the best products and services to big corporations and government users. And now this same technology is available to you. They have the best Earthcast encoders, servers, and products to meet your technical needs. But wait, don't want to mess with technical stress? No problem. They'll do it for you. EarthChannel.com is your answer. You can use webcasting for lots of things like advertising, marketing, customer support, training, and don't forget web radio and TV. In fact, you're listening to a live Earthcast right now. So come to EarthChannel.com. Actualize your audio or video webcasting needs today. You can't beat the friendly service or the price. Call EarthChannel.com at 1-800-849-8978. That's 1-800-849-8978.
Constant Contact and your small business make a perfect fit for marketing. They give you what you need to succeed. Fast and easy email marketing at your fingertips. Visit the HealthyLife.net advertiser page and click on Constant Contact to start your marketing.
Love with Food delivers healthy, natural, organic, or gluten-free snacks every month right to your door. Whether you want a home or business box, Love with Food has got you covered. Membership starts at $9.99 a month. Imagine junk-free food delivered every month. And the best thing is that for every box you buy, Love with Food donates to food banks in America. To find out more, visit HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click the Love with Food banner. And do it right now.
Get high-quality glasses, sunglasses, and prescription lenses at eyeglasses.com. Choose from over 250,000 items and 400 brands. Already have frames? Get replacement lenses. It's easy. Go to our advertiser page and click eyeglasses.com.
HealthyLife.net, where positive overcomes negative.
Power to the people. Power to the people. Power to the people. It's power to the people.
Welcome back. You're listening to Powell to the People. Wayne Powell here, and I'm with El Camino College trustee Cliff Numark. Well, we've been talking a lot about the unit of the college and, public safety especially. And I'm amazed at, the public safety training center that's being built, or actually may be completed by now.
It's not quite there yet, but we are in the process of siting it on our campus after a number of different places. But yeah, it's in the process of being scoped out. Yes.
And I actually toured the campus some time ago, and I was just totally blown away. They had outstanding concert and theater facilities, a planetarium, an art gallery, an anthropology museum. Talk about that.
Yeah, it's really, El Camino is a community institution, and you've highlighted a lot of the great ones there. Certainly, we have an outstanding planetarium program with great astronomers. Dr. Susan Stolevy is actually a very good friend of mine. We have the auditorium, the music area. It's a great community resource. And I don't know if you've been to our football stadium recently, but whoa, it is incredible. It is the entire location for the infrastructure for our athletes is outstanding, and really is just it's a fantastic place to compete, whether it's in the basketball area or swimming or in the football area. And the other piece about El Camino, which is really outstanding, is we have one of the best journalism programs in the country. It's just an incredible student newspaper. And then we also have a fantastic forensics program, and we have won national honors in our debate program. So there's just so many great institutions in the college. It's a lot to be proud of. There's a lot to be proud of.
Yeah. Are there some unique programs, perhaps, that aren't offered by many other educational institutions?
I would say that probably most of our courses, I think where you're going is, are there any kind of unique courses that are available at El Camino that aren't available in other places? I can't say that anything really stands out in terms of this is a unique course that's offered. I mean, I think that what's interesting is, we have like an air conditioning repair program, believe it or not, which people talk about getting jobs right away. And those students get jobs right away. So, I mean, there are some, but those I think are those are available. We are investigating actually having a bachelor's degree. That's something that some community colleges have embarked on. We did not do that. I think what's really special about El Camino, in addition to being El Camino, what's really incredible what the college has done, and it's been a few years back now, but Compton College was actually, after it went through a lot of challenges, was really going to completely disintegrate if it weren't for the El Camino standing up. So Compton College became effectively the Compton Center, and then ultimately went down the path toward being reaccredited. They had lost its accreditation based on a number of financial issues. And so the college spent a lot of time working with the Compton College folks to get it back on its path to being self-sufficient, which it is today. It has been for about 2 or 3 years now. So that's where some of that energy went, which I think was really good for certainly the Compton community and I think the broader Southern California college community, because it provided a place where 8,000 students could go to a neighborhood school to get trained. Yeah.
Well, I want to shift gears and talk about your involvement with the Red Cross. I know because of your involvement in the things that the Red Cross has done, it's saved countless lives. How has blood donations been the impact post-COVID?
Yeah, this has been talk about a whirlwind. So I started working at the Red Cross Southern California Blood Bank in 2003. I became the CEO of the Red Cross SoCal Blood Bank in about 2010, and then grew it to be the largest collector and distributor of blood in the Red Cross system. And then ultimately, I led the national blood donation program for the American Red Cross, where I was responsible for recruiting about on the order of about 5 million blood donations, about 1 million platelet donations. So it was, and that provided the blood for about 40% of the public in the country. People may not realize how common blood is needed. Every 2 seconds, someone needs a blood product, and about about 15 to 17% of folks who go in the hospital will need blood as part of their hospital procedure. So it's a critical piece in the healthcare system. And when COVID first struck, I moved from the American Red Cross to the second largest blood bank in the country, organization called Vitalant. We serve hospitals coast to coast, and significantly in Northern California as well as in Arizona, Colorado, and a number of other states. So when the COVID first hit, everything was shutting down. And what people don't really recognize is that a significant portion at the Red Cross was about 80%. At Vitalent, the organization I'm a part of, it was about 60 to 65%. 85% of the blood that we collect comes from places, colleges, businesses, other schools, churches. And when COVID first hit, everything shut down. So literally, it was a crisis. I don't know if folks recall, but literally we had the Surgeon General and, many high government officials were saying, please give blood, because there was still traumas going on. There were still auto accidents and, transplants, things that absolutely require blood. So that was horrifying, and we had to really scramble to try to change our operations and get the word out. And thankfully, we had a number of brick and mortar facilities where people could go to. Then what happened was when COVID first struck, there really wasn't a lot of treatments out there. And so they found that there was one treatment that's been used for about 100 years. It's called convalescent plasma. And that's plasma from folks who recovered from the disease were then transfused into those who are currently suffering. The antibodies that are produced from those who suffered, the recovered patients, were actually used to help fight off the virus in those who are currently in the hospital. And so Vitalent became one of the national leaders of that program. We ended up winning a national marketing award from Chief Marketer for developing a program that encouraged people to donate their plasma so that they could save lives. And ultimately, that program was administered to about 500,000 people. And today, we're in the middle of yet another crisis. The American Red Cross is saying that it's the lowest blood supply we've had in 10 years. And so we need people across, no matter who you donate blood to, but it's very important to donate blood today because of what's happened with Omicron and other things, because things still aren't open. We need people to give blood wherever they can so they can help save a patient's life.
Yeah, there's always a need for blood donors because of the limited shelf life of blood.
Yep.
On that note, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Powell to the People on the Healthy Life Radio Network.
It's Power to the People.
See straight and save. These days, everyone seems to see things differently. But from your eyes, you can see straight and save. Right now, get glasses online at 70% off at Glasses USA. There's a 100% guarantee, too, on top brand men, women, multifocal, and even prescription sunglasses. Visit HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on Glasses USA, and you will see straight and save.
If you're like the 8 out of 10 women that say finding jeans that fit is a problem, well, your problem is solved. Lee Jeans has done extensive research, and they have jeans that fit. There's even an online Lee Fit Finder so you can find the right fit for you. Imagine jeans that instantly slim you with a custom fit and no gap waistband. And guys, kids, Lee has jeans for you too. Click through to Lee's Jeans on the HealthyLife.net advertiser page and get what fits.
Okay, you're stressed. You need a little R&R. Wouldn't go into a spa help? There's all kinds of spas, too. Destination spas, medical spas, day spas, even dental and mobile spas. Where do you find the right spa at the right price? Oh, no, more stress? Well, not anymore. Visit spafinders.com. At spafinders.com, you'll find everything you need to know about spas from around the world. So de-stress. Click on spafinders.com right on our homepage. Ah, I'm feeling relaxed already.
Radio your way. HealthyLife.net.
Power to the people. Power to the people. Power to the people. It's power to the people.
Welcome back. You're listening to Powell to the People. Wayne Powell here, and I'm with El Camino College trustee Cliff Numark. And as I said in the beginning of the show, he's the candidate for Torrance Mayor in the June 7th, 2022 election. Well, a lot of people don't know what it takes to run a successful campaign, and sometimes what you have to deal with, during a campaign. It's not as simple as getting your name on the ballot, and even that takes, there's a number of steps. And then, of course, you show up for the election. There's a heck of a lot more that needs to be done, that has to be done. Talk about that.
Yeah, it's an incredible opportunity to run for office, and I was first elected to the Torrance City Council in 2008 and reelected in 2010, and then was elected to the El Camino Board in 2013, where I'm serving in my second term. Running for office is an incredible opportunity to participate in democracy, and I believe that the reason why I'm running for mayor is I think we have a lot of challenges in the city of Torrance. Most fundamentally, I think we have one of the worst crises in decades in terms of the city's financial situation, which impairs its ability to provide. Will impair its ability to provide for services like public safety and help for the homeless and a variety of other services. So solving the budget deficit is a critical issue, and that's one of the major reasons why I'm running. I'm also running because I believe that our community needs to come together. We've seen national polarization that are out there, and I believe that I can help bring the community together to help that shared purpose, whether it's reaching the right budget decisions, and so we can make the right decisions to help provide services for the residents of Torrance. I think that my business experience, having led teams for 23 years, and my experience in elected office for 13 years with a track record of success, really can help bring people together to solve the major problems the city faces. I've actually had more than 100 community leaders from across the political spectrum have endorsed my experienced leadership because they believe I can help bring people together and solve the difficult problems that we face. And, running for office is tough. It's a family affair. My wife, Diane, is all in it, as well as my son, Lincoln, and my daughter, Pearl. And the reason why is that, we love this community. We love the South Bay. I grew up in the South Bay. I actually used to take the bus from Narbonne High School to my home just outside the Torrance border on 186 in Normandy. And I used to stop off and study in the Torrance Library. I looked around, I was like, wow, this is a great city. I'd love to live here someday. So after, finishing graduate school at Princeton, where I got a master's in public affairs, and my law degree at UC Berkeley, Diane is a Torrance native. We got married, and we said, we're going to return to home. We're going to go to Torrance, live in Torrance, where Diane's mom lives and my mom lives. My siblings live here. My sister teaches at Torrance Unified. We own our home. Diane runs our fitness business. I mean, there's so many wonderful things about our community. And so really that's why I'm running, because I believe I can help, based on my private sector experience and my public sector experience, really bring our community together so that it's a great community, not just for my kids, but for all kids.
And you're to be commended for stepping up, to have public service and give back to the community. I should mention that if you want to learn more about Cliff and also see his long list of endorsements, you can go to his website at cliffnumark.com, and that's spelled Numark. Also, if you want to learn more about El Camino College, their website is elcamino.edu. Well, when you're an elected official or when you're running to become an elected official, sometimes things are not so great. When you're an elected official, there's always the naysayers that will find fault in everything that you do, even where there is none. When you're running for election, when I ran for my first term, I ran against the incumbent mayor, the mayor pro tem, the mayor's sister-in-law, and a few other candidates. And I was actually considered a long shot because the mayor pro tem, and the mayor's sister-in-law ran as a slate. But everything was, all the campaigns by everyone were clean and upbeat. And then when I ran for re-election, then that was post the post-presidential election, which turned out to be, a nasty election, as well as a local assembly election where one candidate was making untruthful statements. But I always ran a positive campaign. It was always about why I believed I was the best qualified, never anything bad about my opponents. I know you've probably experienced some negativity when you ran and successfully were elected to the city council, and I know you've had some interesting experiences being a Torrance council member. Talk about that.
Yeah, I think that I love the fact that democracy is about bring all kinds of viewpoints to the table. And, I think that that's what the mark of a good elected official, a good leader, is that they can listen to all these disparate views and try to make an influence of what they believe is going to be in the best interest for the broader public. That's what I've always tried to do, and I think that there are plenty of times where I've been where people have had different kinds of ideas and viewpoints, and my belief is that's great. I prefer if folks could be civil about it, but different kinds of viewpoints. Hey, that's part of what makes us a great country, is we have different kinds of views. And my job is to try to distill that, to try to do what I think is in the best interest of the public. And that's what I think is so interesting and exciting about making that contribution.
And I always welcomed constructive criticism, just because that's how you are able to do a better job. It's just, sometimes the people that never have anything good to say and, find fault. I just got an email from someone saying, well, why is he running against the current mayor? And I should say that you're actually not. And, in fact, you're endorsed by the current mayor of Torrance.
That's correct. Yeah, I've been endorsed by Pat Fury, who's the mayor of Torrance, as well as actually someone who ran against him, my fellow colleague at the time, Councilman Bill Sutherland. Folks, Betty Lou, who's the former president of the Torrance School Board, as well as a number of other current school board members from Torrance, and folks up and down the political spectrum, homeowner association presidents, about 3 dozen current and former Torrance commissioners, a number of retired, nearly 2 dozen retired Torrance council members and school board members. So a number of folks are uniting behind my campaign because, listen, the way I serve as a council member, the way I would like to serve as mayor, I intend to serve as mayor, is really to bring people together and just focus on common sense issues. I'm not interested in getting into ideological debates or, focusing on things that really are far afield from what it takes to run a city, which is to provide basic services, public safety, water, the airport, the sewers. I mean, this is the blocking and tackling that people expect from their city, and that's what I'm going to be focusing on if I'm fortunate enough to be elected mayor.
And I should say, having been, you were obviously previously a Torrance council member. You're currently an El Camino College trustee. You're a CEO. So you have that skill set that, to me, would seem like it would be a turnkey operation elected.
Well, I appreciate that, Wayne. Thank you. I'd like to think that I'm bringing the public sector background experience, the private sector experience, and a leadership style that can kind of bring people together. That's why, given the real challenge and crisis the city's facing in terms of its finances, I think I can help chart a path to move us forward.
Well, good luck with the election. On that note, we're out of time. I want to thank my guest, Cliff Numark. This has been very informative. Next week, we have Isaac Gordon from California State University, Long Beach, the College of Business, and I look forward to another informative show. I want to thank you for listening to Powell to the People, and always remember, power is the ability to do good things for others and to make your community and the world a better place. This is Wayne Powell sending you positive thoughts and good wishes. Stay safe, be well, and have a great week. We'll see you back next Monday, same time, same place. Until then, Bye for now.
Powell, it's Powell to the people. You're listening to Wayne Powell on Powell to the people. It's Powell, Powell to the people. You're listening to Wayne Powell on Powell to the people.